From Soweto to Ferguson, from the Tiananmen Square to Tahrir Square, from the streets of Kampala to the avenues of Algiers, from Black Lives Matter in Minneapolis to the End SARS protests in Lagos. Every era has had its front line, and every generation has had its moment of reckoning. With more often than not, it begins with a whisper, a cry. A lone protest could be a woman, a student, a worker, a poet, saying what others only dare to think. And then the system responds, sometimes with silence, or with rubber bullets, or with real ones, sometimes with handcuffs, or with fear. But history teaches us something else. Where the powerful seek control, the people seek a voice. Where the government builds its walls, the youth build movements. And Kenya is no exception. This is the land of Gashamba's printing press, of Wangari Maathai's green resistance, of the Moi-era dread and the 2007 scars. We have marched, we have mourned, we have spoken, and even when the microphones were off. But now, a new generation is rising, born after the Constitution, raised on the promise of democracy, fluent in hashtags, poetry of a protest variety, and political memes, yet painfully aware that sovereignty, real sovereignty, is not a gift, it's a struggle. Today we ask the hard questions. What does it mean to dissent in modern Kenya? Can you criticize your country and still love it? And why is it that when the youth ask for inclusion, they're met with suspicion? Or a squad car, or a Subaru, as they say. In the past week, the past 2 weeks, a young woman's arrest became a flashpoint. Today, a young man's death is yet another flashpoint. But these stories are bigger than Rose and Ojwang. This is a story of civic space, of courage, of consequences. And so we gather here, not to throw stones, ladies and gentlemen, but to sharpen minds, not to incite, but to ignite something deeper, a national conversation, a generational demand, a reckoning with the soul of our republic. This is the People's Court, and tonight the youth are not just in the gallery, they're on the stand. And the verdict, well, we'll let Kenya decide. Karibuni sana, the People's Court is here, and allow me to introduce our guests. We have quite a lot of people in the studio today, as is our custom. Allow me to introduce the people to my immediate right, and the gentlemen and ladies that have graced us with their presence and are itching to give us their insights on the other side of the studio will be able to introduce themselves as they speak. First, we have, ladies first, Madam Nelius Njuguna. Karibu sana.
Asante.
You are a legal advisor at the Kenya Human Rights Commission. How are things there?
At the moment, we are very busy because of the shrinking civic space and the oppression that's going on and all these cases, but we'll get to talk about them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Next, we have Hussein Khalid. He's a prominent activist. Is that right to say prominent activist? It's not.
Nah, I'm just a normal Kenyan.
Just a normal Kenyan
citizen
whose voice is louder than others, especially when it comes to times of injustice. He is the CEO of Vocal Africa, formerly of Africa.
Yes,
Africa.
correct. Asante.
We have a very colorful gentleman at the corner there. His name is, your name is like the name of royalty in Ethiopia. Your name is Tafari, I believe. Yeah. Yes, Davis Tafari, and you've got the dreadlocks. It looks like Ras Tafari. Ladies and gentlemen, Davis Tafari, he's part of, by the way, that's your camera. You need to look at the people of Kenya. He is a creative director of something called the Social Justice Traveling Theatre.
Yeah, for sure.
Powerful things there.
Yeah.
Karibu sana. Thank you for your presence.
Asante sana.
And last but not least is Professor Fred Ogola. Karibu sana.
Thank you, my brother.
You wear many hats. You wear none now, but you wear many hats. Governance expert, all-round troublemaker. Karibu sana.
Mostly people's economist.
The people's economist. Well, the People's Court welcomes the people's economist. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a large group of people, politically switched on, active, insightful, up-to-date, and vocal. Youth in the studio right now. Habari zenu? Karibuni sana. Right. Now, we've got a lot to talk about, and as always, we may not always have enough time to address what we're talking about. But I want to begin basically by asking some questions of the people that we have today. And let's start with our gentleman here from the Traveling Theatre. I want you to talk to me about what it means to dissent today, to you. What does that mean to you, dissenting?
Yeah, for me, to dissent is to speak up, to be as an upright man, to speak up against any injustices that are happening in our country, to hold our leaders accountable, to demand for alternative political leadership, and also to demand for a leadership that is ready to uphold social justice and human rights.
All
that
right.
for me is to dissent.
All right. Professor Ogola, what does dissent mean to you?
I think it was said in one of the best ways that professors can say by the young people when they say tumekata. Tumekata. Just is you can say many English, but they just say tumekata.
Tumekata.
Sasa wamekata nini? They refuse the issue of poor leadership. They refuse the issue of corruption. They refuse the issue of human rights. You know, the route human rights take is very long, but these people go direct. They said they talk without table manners. They tell you as it is. I remember you saw Khalid how it was very hard to calm them down.
Yep.
When you tell them, please, let us behave. What is behave? What is behave? You can't explain. So the dissent simply means that the mindset we've had, what will be held to be something that decorum, for them they just want the right thing. And they don't want to follow a process. And I think that's why we are going to discuss later. But also allow me to say that I know you call this youth activism. I would more or less call this thing as youth governance, because today we saw something remarkable. When we were pushing for the postmortem, when we said, let's do 2 p.m., they said, no, now. Why not now? You see, they made the thing move from 2 p.m. to 8 a.m. So I think that I would give credit to them by simply being very direct. And by changing mindset, I would call them a paradigm shift, if you like.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, I want to ask this question of some of you. And I know the facts are out in the open. We're talking about, let's talk about the last 2 weeks in our country. We've got the arrest of Rose earlier on. We've got the arrest and killing of the late Ojwang.
Yeah.
And there's been a few others that may not have had national attention, but things have happened. Just talk to me a little bit, Nelius, about what red flags did you spot in the arrest of, say, Rose, Jerry?
The red flags I can say I spotted is the first thing is how arrests have been taking place on Fridays. It's become so common that because the police know that you need to be presented in court 24 hours after, if it's a holiday or a weekend, the 24 hours will end way after. So for like the situation for Rose Njeri, it happened that there was even a holiday on Monday. So that first red flag is the thing is they are trying to intimidate and use the law or other means to make sure that people are unable to speak up, people are unable to push back, and that's one of the red flags that I noticed. The other thing is they are also using fabricated or charges, or what I can say is, for instance, in Rose's situation, what the charge is interfering with the system. But it's just simply sending emails. How are you interfering with the system of a whole government institution by just sending emails of public participation and opinions on the finance bill? And even for these other Albert Ojwang situation about, they're saying he insulted. How is that an offense?
False implication. Publication.
False publication, that is. False publication, that is not something that he was even charged with or even that was recorded as a complaint. So those are the red flags I have spotted, that they are using tactics that to oppress and to intimidate, so that as Kenyans or as the youth, we fear to push back and we don't raise our voices. and we are just silent, and things go and move, and we are distracted, and they pass laws that oppress us, and they take action that oppress us as Kenyans.
All right. I saw you nodding vigorously to what you were saying.
Yeah, definitely. And let me first of all respond to the question that you asked. What is dissent? For me, dissent is speaking truth to power. And I think at this point in time in Kenya, we have a generation that is bold. We have a generation that is courageous. We have a generation that is not scared to be, that voice of reason in our country. And I think they must be encouraged to dissent. They must be encouraged to critique, because that's the only way we'll be able to, ruffle the feathers so that we can get everyone moving together in the right direction. In terms of what has happened in the last 2 weeks, quite a lot. Let's remember that Albert Ojwang was arrested together with a colleague, Kevin, who the two of them were operating this account that supposedly, published false information. And they tried to, pin all sorts of charges on Kevin on yesterday. But the DPP did not approve, because they said every charge that they tried to bring forward, there was no evidence. So what is very clear is that if Albert was alive today, of course he would have been together with Kevin, and by now he would have been released, because the DPP did not approve the charges. Kevin was released yesterday, and this just shows how crooked our system is, how individuals are using their positions in authority, to silence critics, to silence dissent, and that takes us back to our initial point that we must encourage all generations, and particularly the Gen Zs, to stand up for your country, because ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
All right. Khalid, I have a direct question for you. What emotions, or perhaps even fears, does this incident spark in you, both personally and professionally?
For me, it's really, it's mixed emotions. It's anger, but it's also that disappointment, and then very sad. Anger in that this was absolutely needless. This young man didn't have to die. If they had issues with him, the law is very clear. Just follow the law. Why are you using extra-legal means on a young individual who was simply trying to play his part in the development process of this country? So that makes me very angry. I am disappointed that the same individuals who have been mandated by law to protect life are the same persons now. Of course, after the post-mortem results are out, we've confirmed that they are the ones who are taking lives away. And it's very sad for me, because a child will now grow without a father. We have a widow. Barely 2 days ago, she was sitting down with her husband, having lunch, just minutes before the police came in. And that young woman now has no husband, and she has to take care of her child by herself. So it's mixed emotions. We are very angry, we are disappointed, we are sad, and this is the situation the country is in. And I'm really, really banking on the younger generation to take charge of the affairs of this country and to make sure that we go in the right direction.
All right. Earlier on in your introductory statement, Nelius, you said something that was quite interesting. You said you're concerned for the civic space in Kenya. You say it's been shrinking. I want to throw this question to you guys. What would you say the civic space in Kenya is as active or as welcoming as you need it to be? Let's have some comments. Let's start with you, sir.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Victor.
Karibu.
My name is Wanjalo Silas.
Yes, Silas, how are you?
I'm very fine. I'm an intern doctor, and I bless the Lord for this chance. Yes. And I'm a mentor too to high school students. So indeed, from what has been happening, and from what Khalid has explained, it seems that indeed the civic space in Kenya is not welcoming at all. It definitely takes us to, okay, there's a proverb in Swahili says, kwa mwoga huenda kicheko, kwa shujaa huenda kilio. It means now things are turning that they want us to be waoga. And of which this is not what is supposed to happen. If people who are supposed to take charge in a nation keep silent, it means definitely we are allowing things to go south. We are allowing things to go out of the way, and of which it will impact us negatively. We'll allow corruption to thrive. We allow the extrajudicial killings to thrive, of which it is not supposed to be like that. And it is, I know, all of us bear that opinion, that we are supposed to change as a country.
All right.
And as Gen Zs, we are supposed to take charge of this thing.
Okay.
And as Khalid has said, as they are leading us to that, let's stand firm on these, and let's enlighten our nation and our people to know that indeed we're supposed to stand for one another. We're supposed to give each other direction so that our country becomes a better place and a safe place for everyone. Thank you.
Right, thanks. Let's hear from Mtetezi here. And anyone else who's ready?
Thank you. Victor, today I want to begin with that I stand as a sad and disappointed young man. One, and sending a request to the whole of nation Kenya and the people of goodwill of this nation. First, put the youth of this nation into prayers, because we are living in a land where our tomorrow is not assured. Our lives are in danger, and I want to confirm this, and with what one of the MPs said from Kitui, that we shall assure you of freedom to speak, but after speaking, there will be no freedom. I think those people have been sent by someone. And also the statement that was said by Falmarim, that if I was the person, I would have killed 5,000 Gen Zs. And they are on a mission to do that. So I stand to be very sad. Today I was there in the protest, and I feel the youth of this nation, including me, that we are in an endangered species.
Yep.
And the other thing, I am also disappointed, fully disappointed, that a national police department that is entrusted with the lives, to secure our lives, that can take a moment of releasing fake news. Because according to the autopsy that was released by the pathologist, the information the police who killed Albert, because they accused him of false publication, themselves, they gave a false publication, that they didn't kill that person, that Albert killed himself. And I want to ask this government, if you think, and I want to inform them, if they think with killing one of us, we are going to sit down and relax, or maybe back off, let them know. Even when we were protesting, they killed more than one. And we are not going to go back. We are not going to back off. Okay. We are going to push forward, and we shall ensure what we say no, it shall remain our no. The last thing, I want to request, Mr. President, if at all you had not given your blessings to the death of Albert to be killed, help us put out the person who was charged and the person who is the main suspect, the DIG, Lagat, help us to put that man in jail, if at all you believe that you apologized for our people. And I want to ask my fellow Gen Zs, we are not asking for Lagat to resign. We are asking for him to be jailed. Because if a fellow Kenyan, when he kills, he's jailed. Does the police have a right to kill innocent souls? That is my question tonight.
Right.
If the president is not supporting the killing by police, let them sack and jail the DIG. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear from the gentleman from TUM, Mombasa. Your name, please, and your statement. And then, ladies, you don't have something to say tonight? You're coming. Pole.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
my name is Robert. Today, I stand here a sad young person. I'm so sad because one of my peers has been killed. And who is it that has taken the life of this young man? The police. Oh God. What country are we in? The National Police Service Act provides that the police should not torture, subject anyone to torture, let alone killing. The Constitution provides that every person has a right to life. No one is supposed to take anyone's life. The same Constitution provides that if you have done any wrong, you have a right to a fair trial before a court. What is it that Albert did that warranted torture and cruel killing? We stand here today demanding that those from the junior officers to the person who gave the orders, I don't believe that the police went by their own volition all the way to Homa Bay. Somebody gave the order. That person must be brought to book. We saw the effectiveness with which the unfortunate murder of Honorable Were, they moved swiftly to apprehend the suspects. You can't just interdict police officers. They are not above the law. Let them stand trial and let them be jailed.
All right.
I'm very sad today, and may the soul of Albert Ojwang rest in eternal peace.
All right, all right. Lastly, let's hear from the gentleman. Sorry, sir, we'll come to you. The gentleman next to you. Someone hand him a mic, and then we'll come back up here.
Yeah, my name is Cross Kerogo John. I'm from Wanjohi Ward. And as my fellow brothers have said, today we are a sad young generation because one of us was taken out carelessly. I'm going to address the parliament, and as well I'm going to address our police service. It was so devastating today that the complainant who caused the death of one of our own, as the IG was giving his report, the guy was at the back. Now, were they covering him or something? You wonder, where's justice? The person who we are claiming has done the wrong to our fellow, he's there behind the IG while addressing the matter. To me, that was so devastating. The second thing, to our parliament. It is the parliament which approves the appointment of the DIG. And it is the same parliament which can remove him from that position. But we are living in a country where leaders are controlled like remotes. They cannot do something on their own because there is a commanding authority above which directs them on what to do. They cannot take a step and move forward to defend the young people or to reject a wrong thing done to the nation. To me, that is very devastating, and I don't know what we will do, Mr. Victor, to liberate our nation, other than coming out on the roads again and tell our leaders that we are not heading in the right direction. The last thing, I'm going to address the broad-based government. I remember very well that Sifuna stood very strong, the Secretary General of UDA, and said the broad-based government is only based through the 8-point agendas, and one of them was abduction and killing of young people. It has been done. Let us see ODM and the broad-based government standing strong to make sure Langat is home.
All right.
And is jailed.
All right, all right. Let's hear from you, and then we shift here. Please. Karibu sana.
Asante.
From how's Nyandarua?
Wako sawa.
All right.
Kila mtu wako sawa.
Yeah.
So today, I'm a very sad person over here because of, kuwa mtu si ka venye unaweza chinja kuku na ukule Victor. This is another level of, I don't know, sijui humanity tulipeleka wapi. I don't understand why, because of power, and you feel like this person has offended you. Mi nikicreate your IG ama Twitter yangu, that account yangu, nikitu na post is out of my feelings. And where I see hainibambi, nina post too. Lakini why will, because of something that I created, will cost my life. Right now, sika kitambo venye polisi, tuseme, I'm a last born in my family. And tuseme like way much before my brothers maybe ashikwe na polisi, my father is that strict person, angesema huyo acha alale, kesho nitashughulika. But saizi akisikia ama huyo my same brother ameshikwa, pressure inapanda to 200. Kwa sababu ya nini? Because he doesn't even trust this police. Ama time ingine police time kungekuwa na mob justice, polisi kitambo, polisi angefika, huyo mtu angesevika. Because these are our security, maintaining law and order. I think hiyo point ndio ilikuwa inakuja time ungeandika kazi ya polisi ni nini ukiwa shule, maintaining law and order. But another thing, looking at the political aspect, I am thinking these people are taking this chance, or maybe they want to divert our attention from the finance bill. This is my own thinking. Because last year, yes, hakukuwa na anything that came in between ili finance bill tukuje tena kwa street to resist ama to reject. But now they will love to bring some. Those people are up hivi intel wako nayo. So as young people, as I would love to talk to my fellow young people, to see lose focus in what we want.
All right.
Albert's death will be used to help us, like kutupotosha tuende tuanze barabara, but si ati nasema tusiangalie Albert's death, lazima tufuatilie justice ya Albert. Because size yes ako kwa fridge hapo hivyo na hata hajui whatever is happening to the country because of someone interest. No, because we know like no one is above the law. All of us, we are governed by this law. And the laws zenye zilikuja ni sisi wote tulipitisha tukasema ni sawa. Charges za mada ni hivi na hivi. Let the person who is involved in that to be held accountable na afungwe.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I can see online Moses Ndiwa is watching from Mount Elgon, Kaptama. Thank you so much. Francis Mwiruri. Francis Mwiruri has very interesting things to say. He says, Bure kabisa. Luke Wachania says, he commends you guys for representing the youth of Nyandarua. Someone here says, hi, cousins. And Elijah Sang as well says, and someone called Oscar Sala says, blood-based government. Anyway, I want to shift the conversation a little bit. Dr. Ogola, it appears from what they're saying and from what we gathered earlier today, someone said that this country, the state, is afraid of active youth. Would you say this is a true statement?
The fundamental thing, because you see, as I say, I'm a people's economist, everything can be explained in this thing from the economic context. What do I mean by that? They deeply promised a lot of things. And when they can't perform, and we have very intelligent people who can put them to check, now they feel threatened. Because if the economy was performing, if healthcare was thriving, if education sector was working, who would publish false information? Go to Japan, go to Korea. Young people go to the media inviting people to visit their country. Ask these young people, can you invite somebody to come to visit this country knowing they can die? So you see, when you can't perform, it's called operational risk. If you elect a head of state, if you put a government in place that can't perform, what happens is that they become the insecurity to a state. If you are a husband anywhere, if you cannot satisfy your family, ensure that kids are going to school, your wife has everything, and there's food at home, you start beating your wife because you say, why answering me? But you can't put food on the table. If you go wherever in the other room, you can't perform in the other room, you become very angry if your wife says something, unanidharau. So it is that these people cannot perform, they can't produce anything, and then we have young people. I've just looked at the phone penetration in Kenya. It's at 138%. That simply means that we have 77.6 million phones in Kenya. Those phones can get any information. these generations are the most connected because this single thing called phone, with having 77 million phones running around in the in Kenya, where can they hide? The government have to know that they cannot use the playbook, which was used by previous administration when we had no constitution of Kenya 2010, and then we had no phone. This generation, some people here have, I don't know, 70,000 TikTok followers. What do you mean by 6? Our parents never had followers. There was just, 2 people in the village. But you see, these people have a Twitter handle. They have a Facebook handle. They have Instagram. They have a TikTok. They want information instantly. They all know it. And then they synthesize it very fast. So the government cannot deal with the intelligence. And then they cannot deal with the generation that don't know who was in Moi, Nyayo cell, like for example. Raila Odinga says, I was suffering Nyayo self. Why you born? And do you care? So they just don't care about the history. They just want to know, now you are collecting X amount of money in taxes. Where are you putting the money? Yeah. Look here, you promise X, Y, Z. If you promise us, you knew the history of Kenya. So don't tell me, oh, you inherited a deliberated country. Why did you run for president? If you don't know, then resign. And I like the gentleman here. As Gen Zs, we don't recognize parliament. I'm sorry to tell you. I was in parliament that day, I was on the road. That parliament you're mentioning, for me, they don't exist. They are just people who are there are imposters. In fact, their time is being counted. I can tell you, you can sit back here and watch. I want to give you one thing. You have to distinguish between the fundamentals that made you succeed in the demonstration and fundamentals for leadership. Because what made you reach parliament cannot make you be elected into parliament. Yeah. So you have to shift from now being activists, that's what I'm telling you, to become leaders. I'm so happy that you even have a dream. I'll be happy with you.
Hang on a second.
So,
hang on a second.
I'm just trying to say.
Hang on a second, Prof.
Yes.
I believe that's a key point there that's being raised. The evolution from, you're saying, activism to leadership.
Leadership, yes.
How do they make that transformation? And what's the difference?
The difference between, you see, I was a professor also in a classroom. I was teaching people. I didn't know the people suffering. Then I went to the street and I found when I was on the street, telling me, please, somebody has grabbed my land. How can you help me? So you see, I teach theory by giving a press statement, discover people have real problems. So then I became an advocate. So I would take a petition to court to solve an issue. Then I could go to the street and shout, but that was not enough because people ask you, so which solution are you offering? So by saying, tumekataa, lakini tunakubali nini? So we want to engage into, can we have a proposal? We are rejecting a finance bill. Can we propose any bill that if passes parliament, you can get a job? Can we propose a bill that if we pass, will make these people's life harder to arrest us and to kill us? So I'm thinking that even with the AI technology we have, we need now to be more positive to generate something, to be known for something. For example, Rose Njeri has put a mark that she developed a platform to tell you how bad the finance bill is. That's very positive, by the way, isn't it? And this government fears knowledge. When you have knowledge, you are endangered species because they can't think. That's why they were pushing us to politics. Okay. They fear dealing with the real issues. And for us, we know real issues, so they are afraid. So I'm asking you, engage more positively, okay. Be solution-oriented. That's when you become a leader. Activism will just make you popular, but it ends at just being popular.
All right, interesting point. Now, I have a question for both of you, and Tafari, I'm coming to you in a moment, if my voice can survive. Nelius and Khalid, talk to me. Are the youth voices being genuinely heard, or are they being co-opted, or even dismissed in this case? I want you to cast back to the June protests of last year, up to now. What trend are you seeing? You've been around for a while. You've seen some things happen. I want you to talk to the young people of Kenya that are sitting on the cusp of a possible revolution or possible change. Are their voices being co-opted, dismissed, and so on? Let's start with you, Nelius, and then Khalid.
Yes, coming from the Gen Z protest from last year, initially I think there was some dismissal of the Gen Z. an underestimation of the power that the Gen Z could have. Initially, when the Gen Z, I am a zillennial, so I'm just there on the border. So sometimes I identify as, yes, I can be a millennial and a Gen Z. But what happened is that when the protest started initially, before June 25th, you could hear members of parliament just making fun of the Gen Z and they're going to eat KFC and all that. So I think that's what, there is that underestimation of young people. And
they still underestimate them now.
Even right now, I think what happened
after all that has happened.
After all that has happened, they're not now underestimating in the sense of that they know that now the Gen Z have power and the youth in the country have power and they can cause change. But the way they are doing it is they are trying to curb it through means that they think will work, but they underestimate. For example, the issue of Rose Njeri, I think they underestimated how this would affect and how the youth would come out and speak out for her. Even for Albert Ojwang, I think they underestimated when they went, the audacity and the way they went broad daylight to take someone from Homa Bay, travel all the way to Nairobi, and then here they execute him. So in that way, I think in their minds, they are thinking, no, there's nothing they can do. So there's still an aspect of underestimation. They know that the youth are powerful, but they don't know how the power that the youth hold. Right. And the youth hold a lot of power, and as Gen Zs, and it's something that they should be aware that, especially considering that the youth population, 35 and below, is very high. It's 75% to 80%. And
there's a youth bulge coming.
Yes.
Huge.
Yes. So it's a population that should be reckoned with.
Right.
Yes.
Khalid, on that point, talk to the young people out here and please start from your own experience. How does one keep their voice pure? How does one protect their voice from being co-opted or dismissed or even compromised, as we have seen?
Yeah, so I think initially before the protests, the youth's voice was being heard, but then they were being ignored. You know, they were like, oh, these are just youth who've come to the protest in Ubers with the iPhones, so they were like being dismissed. But then after June 25th, they realized that the youth of this country are serious and we can't take them for granted. So then they moved from being ignored to now trying to manipulate them. So they tried all sorts of shenanigans, tried to buy some of them, tried to do this, but then they realized, actually, these youth are not the youth that we are used to. You know, a few years back, when we were doing the Occupy Parliament and all that, you would be protesting in the streets, and you're telling Kenyans, come, we are protesting, this is about us. And it would just be the same individuals. People would just look at you from the streets and say, Pamoja, please fight for us, continue. And you know, they just watch you. But the power in the Gen Zs, it's not activists. It is lawyers, it is engineers, it is social scientists, it is watu wa jua kali. All the youth now understand that this country belongs to us. And there is no single individual who is going to bring change. It is all of us collectively. So irrespective of your background, whatever profession you are, they have decided that they will fully participate in the change process in this country. That's why when they call for protests, it's hundreds of thousands, because it's not an activist issue. It's not a lawyer's issue. Everyone's problem is our problem. So they come out and they come in numbers. Now, when they realize that, oh, this is not a generation to be ignored. This is not a generation to be manipulated. Now, they've decided to silence them, to kill them. You know, when December, when we go towards the end of the year, you saw how disappearances now, how many youths were disappeared. And up to this point in time, that is the tactic that is being used. And the good thing about this generation, they're fearless, they're leaderless, they're tribeless, all those things. And the more you threaten them, this is what the older generation does not understand. You see, for us millennials, we have some of our children are Gen Zs, so we understand. But how wazee wako huku juu, there is that huge disconnect. You know, information technology, social media and everything, it's come so fast, and it has, hawajui what is happening. So to them, when thousands of youths go to the streets, hundreds of thousands, they're still in that thinking, someone must have paid these people. Nani amewalipa? Because they can't fathom that people would come on their own accord. How? Kwa sababu wao wamezoea, lazima ulipe watu. So they start arresting people. Oh, it's Ford Foundation. Oh, it's Gachagua is funding them. Because they can't imagine someone use their own transport to go there. They don't understand that the more you threaten them, the more you kill them, the more you increase their anger to want to even do more. So now they're like, ay, si tumeua, na tumeua. Because in their generation, they're used to tukishika 1, 2, tafari na nani, wengine watanyamaza. This generation is not that generation. So hawanyiti, hawashiki, hawaelewi that this generation is different, and they are here to stay, and they want to take charge of their country. So this is what I would say. This generation is a blessing to this country, and it's not a blessing to this country alone. I was in Nigeria a few weeks ago. This generation is a blessing to the continent of Africa.
They're following.
And this time round, Africa will take lead, starting from Kenya and the youth who have shown that they can handle any pressure that comes on them.
Right. Now, Tafari. Ras Tafari. Excuse me. You're part of the traveling theatre.
Yes.
You know, social justice theatre, for that matter. What have the youth told you? What have the youth taught you through, you know, art and performance? Ground inasema nini?
Yeah. Kwanza ground wamekasirika, wanasema Ruto must go. So first of all, I will love to differ with my senior comrade hapa. Activist is just being an active citizen, being at par with what is happening in our society, and being ready to critique the government whenever they go wrong. So, and we can see from history, Raila was an activist, Orengo was an activist. So an activist can take political power. So you cannot just say that you can leave activism and then join this other side. You betray the people, and if you betray the people, they will not forget. If the time comes, they will not show any mercy. So the Social Justice Traveling Theatre, we've been organizing in a different informal settlement under the Social Justice Center's Nairobi chapter. And organizing in different informal settlement, tunapata information from the ground. Tunasikiliza ground kabisa. So, and the ground is charged. The ground has lost hope to this government, and the ground are ready to have a new political alternative that is rooted, that is based on social justice. Right now, I remember before June protest, we started with protests that were happening in Juja Road, because we remember the floods in Mathare. The government responded by demolishing houses of people living in Mathare. And we came out in the street and we blocked Juja Road. And after that, people were arrested, our offices were raided. And after that, it culminated. And right now, we can now talk about the June 25th protest. And it's because those people who are living in the ghettos, in informal settlement, they are bitter with this government. We gave this government power because we knew their manifesto, it was rooted with our needs. Our needs were there. They said that they will not kill us. So we knew that the extrajudicial killing that has been continuing, that has been happening in Dandora, in Mathare, in Kayole will stop. But what are we seeing right now? We are seeing this government is continuing to kill our people. They said that this government will give us houses. Even right now in Mukuru kwa Jenga, we have an office in Mukuru. Ask anyone. We've been in ground and asking, is there anyone who have received a house? No one has received any house. And also in Mathare, people have demolished the houses in Mathare. We have affordable houses in Pangani. No one has been given a house in Mathare. So we are asking, this government, who is it working for? Is it working for the people, or is it working for his own interests and the few billionaires who are occupying this government? And the traveling theatre,
Yes.
art is very powerful.
Actually, that's my question.
Art is very powerful.
How do you do that? How are you able to use art?
Yeah,
in theatre?
the traveling theatre is an organization that has members from different informal settlements, from different social justice centers. And atuendang in a play, it is out of this world. We first do recce visits in this community and identify specific needs of our people. And then after that, we curate a play that will relate with them. And when we come to the ground, we come with different styles, like participatory educational theatre, where we do not come as messiahs to impose things on our people. These are people have their own mind, and they can create their own solutions. So when we come, tukikuja kwa ground to find a performance, themselves, how wenyewe ndo wanaleta solution, and they tell us, now we want to go to protest. Now we want people to help us sign take petition to parliament. So everything that we do as the Social Justice Center's Nairobi chapter, it is not out of this world. It is something that it is based, it is rooted with the people in our community, and they can relate with it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that.
Just a minute.
Yeah, yes, before we want to shift to these guys. See, the guys are they're active.
Just take a minute. I think also just on the theatre thing, I've attended some of them. They send a message just like literature will do. And sometimes what happens with this is that people like things that are being acted and played, because sometimes people might not everyone wants to read. Books might have, many books are very foreign sometimes, but these are stories being told in a local context. My second point before I finish is just like when I was saying to Khalid, I just want to give an anecdote. Integrity has been what has been to Gen Zs. Yesterday, when we were at
Could you allow me to just come back to you in a moment, please?
Okay.
In a moment. For those of us who are following on social media and those of us who are sending their messages on X, please use the hashtag of the court, the People's Court, so we can be able to get the comments at the very, very top. And the people who are on YouTube who are commenting, come on, we are one people, one country, so let's keep it nice and civil. Thank you so much. Please, sorry.
I'll be very brief. I
promise we'll come back to you.
No problem.
I don't want to diminish the points that are coming up. Let's start with you. You've got the mic. You go. Mulaba, please have a mic, and the two gentlemen right in front of you, the two of you. Yeah.
Thank you, Victor.
What's your name, please?
Nyambura Mwangi.
Karibu Nyambura. Where from?
Nyandarua.
Nyandarua representing. Karibu.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Now today we are just a sad nation, a sad generation. I was in that maandamano, and all I can say, it's sad. Now, I want us to narrow down to the information that led to the death of Albert. He told us that the Deputy Inspector General is getting close to 100 million every month from corruption. Now, let's even say we don't know whether it is true. But again, these people are kind of stamping this, because tell me why police cars were fueled from Nairobi all the way to Homa Bay, a distance of close to around 360 kilometers, just to arrest one young man, as if there were no police posts there where he could have been taken. And actually, the police who are paid to do the dirty work, because we've seen he's been injured out of the autopsy report. I think the people who do the dirty work, they must have been paid hefty, right? So on to the other point. I'm also a social media influencer. And if I don't speak up today for Albert, tomorrow they might come for me. So my call to the Gen Z, let us give it our all. Let us do it for Albert. Because we are saying we are tribeless. And we've seen that. Last week they came for Njeri. We were here for Free Njeri. This week they have come for Albert. And they have actually killed him. So let us give it our all. Let us get to those streets We want the DIG to resign, and not only resigning, we want him jailed. That is only that I have today.
All right, thank you so much. Who else? Oh, you've nominated. I thought there are two gentlemen behind you. But you
so
go
much,
first.
Victor.
You've got the mic.
Thank you, thank you.
Gentleman behind you.
Okay.
You snooze, you lose. Get ready, okay?
Thank you. Dear comrades, a moment of silence for our foreign soldier. Thank you. Victor,
That was first.
it's divine blessing when nature allows children to bury their own parents. But again, it is so devastating when the blood-based government allows or forces the parents to bury their children. They say they are leaders chosen by God. Brethren, I tend to disagree. In the same note, the God of Israelites said to the Israelites, I'll lend you the people that you are forcing kingship. That aside, as you are reading news, Victor, I came across a post by one Didmas Barasa, MP for Kimirili. And it was very disturbing to me because he was saying, Kenyans, you should stop pointing fingers to DIG. He's not the right person responsible for the murder of Albert. But simply, and it is logic, who made the orders or who gave the orders to the junior officers? They want again to sacrifice the junior officers at the expense of the interests. And I want today talk to our dear teachers. Albert was a teacher. Dear teachers, down your tools. Go to the streets until DIG Langat is publicly hanged. The lawyers, the doctors have spoken for one of their own whenever they are touched. Please don't be silent. When the ocean rises, the fish eats the ants. When the water levels goes down or falls, the ants eats the fish. The leadership crisis you have in this country.
To digest that.
An injury to one comrade is an injury to all. Thank you.
Hold on. Give
Rest
us
in
a
peace,
moment to
Albert. Thank
digest
you.
that. When the ocean rises,
When the ocean rises,
the fish eat ants.
Ants.
And when the reverse happens,
That's it.
all right, brother, talk to us. Your name, where you come from, and your comment. Please, nice and tight. We want to make sure everyone gets a chance to have this say.
And at first, it is a moment of silence for our brother, who is Albert John. Thank you. May he rest in peace.
Amen.
I'm Daniel Wageshe Njoroge, all the way from Nyandalwa, representing the youths. Okay. To second our sister there, all about revolution. I came across a certain book just the other day, last week, about the 21st revolution. I want to tell the government this, and the government, let you hear this. The revolution with our Gen Z, it is within us. Nobody has paid us. You may think that someone is paying us. Let me tell you this. It is like kupiga chafi. You can't take it that easy. It is automatically coming out from us. From disappointments of your manifestos. It is better you tell me the truth that you won't give me something than telling me that you will give it, then you will refuse to give it. That is a total betrayal or betrayal that has led us to be in this position. And we are going to give it automatically, that revolution that you wanted. Even if you can't kill us all, that's the thing. That's what we say. We are tribeless, as like the CEO said that, we are tribeless, we are leaderless, and that is us. And we are going to give the 21st revolution. Just like you said that you were in Nigeria. I think that Nigeria had that revolution.
Yes,
that was brought by a certain group of.
The NSAS. The
The
NSAS, yes.
Yes.
You see that?
Because of police abductions as well.
That is. I think it is the same in Kenya. Ni kupiga chafya. At any manner, at any point, let me tell the government this. We are watching and we are coming for our goodness.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The gentleman right next to you, I will come to you.
Thank you so much, Victor.
Yes,
my name is Felix Soita. I am a graduate from GOtv. I did BS in Public Administration and Leadership. I'm also a mentor. Yeah. And tonight I'm disappointed as a Kenyan.
Why?
Because of what is happening in our country. Because we've not been used to this. When I look at everything that is happening in our country, honestly, it's really sad. From the story of the arrest of Njeri, from something that she did. You see, personally from my side, I feel like she was trying to even assist the parliament because it's a constitutional provision for public participation. But now they end up arresting her, they torture her, they take her to her house, even they infringe her rights. Honestly, it is not right. So I really feel disappointed. Things are happening in our country which are very wrong. Even when you go even to funerals, you will find even goons invading. I'm just wondering what is happening. Even for me, I had a meeting just as a youth leader. And my meeting was just goons were sent and we were beaten. And I didn't understand why that happened. Just because someone doesn't want the youth to be enlightened. Someone doesn't want people in the village to be enlightened of their rights. So honestly, let us just respect the Constitution. Our president sought to defend the Constitution. If you look at all these things, from Article 10 of the Constitution, Article 118, which provided the parliament should work in an open manner to make sure that the citizens can also participate, because members of parliament, the power that they have, it's a donated power from us, and therefore they have to respect the citizens. Whatever they are doing in parliament, they have to make sure that whatever they speak comes from the citizen. So honestly, right now, when you see all the institutions, it's like they have been captured. It's like a command is coming from somewhere. Okay. And the only space that is remaining, then, they are the agencies. And I can say that we are not going to get tired. We are there. In fact, the more they do this, the more we shall do. Yes, so they better retreat from these actions.
All right. Quick as you can.
Thank you.
I want us to shift to the conversation.
Thank you.
You want to speak?
I am...
Grab a mic. Do you have another mic?
I am Njoroge Mwangi from Nyandarua County.
Yes, Njoroge, how are you?
Specifically a ward called Gadara Ward. And Victor, I've just confirmed that on 15th, that is on Sunday, the world at large would be celebrating a very good day, that is the Father's Day on Sunday. And it is very sad that Albert Ojwang and his dad will not be sharing the joy that I and majority of people here will be doing to their dads and to themselves. So it is very sad that the government that swore to protect its citizen is taking away the joy of the same citizen. There's a statement in our national anthem that says, "Plenty be found within our borders." And probably it is the high time that the president knows what we mean by plenty be found within our borders. We do not mean plenty of killings. We do not mean plenty of abductions. We mean plenties and abundance in terms of opportunity meant for the young people. We mean that plenty be found in accountabilities that we send in those organizations. So it is sad, and I would want to urge the majority of the young people in this nation that it is the right time that we rise to the occasion. It is the right time that we come up in one voice, that let us put these people into their right places. Let us come in one voice. Let us voice our dissents in one accord, so that we bring everyone in one space, and so that we can come up as good people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mulamba. Oh, there's a gentleman. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Grab a mic, Mulamba, please.
Thank you so much.
Sorry?
I'm glad to be in this conversation tonight.
Karibu, what's your name, please?
My name is Brian Omukaga.
Where are you from?
I'm from GOtv. I'm a student leader there.
Where
also
you
the
where you from?
chairperson of SET Kenya.
Oh, great. Karibu sana.
Yeah, my native county is Busia.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me join my fellow comrades. Indeed, we are sad. We are sad as youth. Because if the systems that are meant to protect us are doing such for us, if the police that are meant to govern, to guard us, are doing what it's happening, in whose hands are we safe? In whose hands are we safe? I think Gen Zs are more informed, are very active, and are online. Because, yeah, ukiangalia hiyo time ya Moi, watu walikuwa, they are just illiterate, but saizi, we are informed, we have knowledge, we have what it entails to do. But systems, what we call systems, inajaribu kutufinyilia. But we Gen Zs hatulegei.
Okay.
So I will urge us, Gen Zs, let us continue pulling up our socks until we get justice.
All
until
right.
we get justice.
All right, thank you so much. Now, after the next speaker, we'll shift over to this side. I've got a couple of questions, and I want to nominate 4 people from this side. So we can shift the conversation forward. I'll nominate 4 people completely at random to answer this question. But first, let's hear from Mr. Mulamba, as concise as you can, please. Karibu.
Okay. My name is James Mulamba, and to clarify it, my name is not Lumumba. They have christened me Lumumba. I do not see the resemblance, but perhaps they think I am a professor or I'm a venerable member, just like the President, Patrice Lumumba.
Are you talking about our very own PLO or the original Lumumba?
All of them. All of them. They are distinguished leaders.
The original one did not end up too well.
They are distinguished leaders.
All right, brilliant.
There is one thing we don't appear to be getting. That is, we are fighting a culture problem. It is not confined to the political class and to the police system. It is in all of us. There is a manager sitting somewhere today. He has already identified the next culprit is going to extort to offer a job opportunity to. There is a police officer who is busy scheming on how he is going to raise bribes for the OCS and for the OCPD. There is a doctor somewhere who is busy scheming on how to overcharge and which patient is going to overcharge. And there is a teacher somewhere who is busy scheming on how they are going to offer a bribe for a promotion. It is in all of us. Before we point that finger, we should remember we are also the problem. So what are you doing yourself as an individual? How are you trying to overcome these challenges? Because it is in all of us, the capacity to be good, the capacity to be bad. We choose whether to be good people, to be moral people, or to be immoral. Thieves have a choice. Saints have a choice. Good people have a choice. So what choice do you make every day that you wake up? As a police officer, what choice do you make? As a doctor, what choice do you make? As a politician, what choice do you make? Because all in all, it appears to me, it is apparently clear that evil is in a battle with good. And it appears evil is winning because we are always discussing bad things every day. Our news are full of bad things. There isn't anything positive. And this has gone on for millennia. Okay. It is not a new thing.
All right.
This is not the first time that the government has targeted its young people. They targeted the likes of Orengo, Miguna. In fact, they forced Miguna to exile. He was in exile in Uganda, then he migrated to the USA. And he stayed in the USA for close to 20 years. This is the same situation. I mean, Canada. Yeah. This is the same situation with George Wajakoya. And people don't know this history. So we have a problem that has outlived time. So can we start reconsidering ourselves going forward. Starting with ourselves. Before uangalie mwanasiasa, uangalie huyo polisi, tuseme shida pia iko na wewe. What are you doing about it?
All right.
Do you have the urge, do you have it in you to resist the urge to take a bribe, to resist the urge to brutalize a fellow citizen? And we also need to discuss the police reforms in this country.
All right.
Because we've taken it as a perfunctory business.
Okay.
We've never taken it as serious as it's supposed to be. As I wind up, Victor.
Please.
Why is it so hard for police officers to wear body cameras? How expensive are they? Why is it so impossible to digitize the occurrence book? We cannot have people booked at 3 a.m. in the morning and they were brought into that police station at 9 p.m. because that is what happened to Albert Ojwang. Okay. We need to discuss police reforms and not merely paying lip service to that discussion, meaning it and doing it. There's nothing that stops us from this. We can fund that through the budget.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. So guys, I'm informed, somewhat to my surprise, but I'm informed that we're actually running out of time. So I want us to shift the conversation. I think we've spent some time, fairly so, to look at the challenge that is before us as a country. I would like us to spend a little bit of time, and I think you set us off in that direction. I would like us to spend a little bit of time looking into the future, looking at what we can do to help. So I've got a question, one question for you, one question for you, one question, and one question for all of you. Now, the question I have for all of you, and I want you to craft just a few seconds. If you can say it in one line, the better. I know all of you are politicians, but try one line, right? So the question I have for you is this. If you were to add or subtract one thing to build the Kenya that you want, the Kenya that you're protesting for, one thing, what would that one thing be, all right? One line, one thing. Cook it up, percolate. I'll come to you in a moment. Khaled, here's a quick one, as quick as you can. You've done this for a while. You've got some insights. How can the youth of Kenya that are angry, that wish to have their voices heard, quick as you can, how can they translate this momentum? Madam is looking for you. Madam, he's coming in no time. How can the youth of Kenya translate this momentum into actual institutional change, if you can?
Yeah, very briefly, take over leadership. If you are old enough to vote, you're old enough to be voted for. There is no age limit.
Okay.
I believe the youth of our country have it in them, and all positions, not just political. Get those administrative positions. We want county commissioners who are youth. We want, government pathologists who are youth. We want attorney generals who are everyone, police, everyone. I think the key to moving Kenya forward is to get the youth into positions of leadership.
All right. Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Nelius, could you talk to us about how organizing, what organizing beyond social media looks like? How do you make it effective? You know, how do you make this movement, the Mtetezis of this world, the Johns of this world, the guys from Gashororo, you said, all those guys, how do you translate this into something that is effective?
I think, let me start by one quick one.
Please.
Before I speak on that, is I think what she said, the lady from Nyandarua, that there's a lot happening. I think this regime is just putting so many things. We are trying to put out a fire here and there, and therefore we are spread out thin. We can't achieve everything. Like everything is just happening at once. So I think one thing is that we need to just maybe be strategic and focus and be everywhere and try to, for example, right now when this is going on, the finance bill is going on, there's a lot more that I'm sure is going to come up that's going on. And now how we can mobilize this space from the social media to now in reality is, as he has said, leadership and being in the political space, being in positions that you can be a decision maker.
Okay.
that will help move things forward, because right now it's like the youth are just speaking and trying to put up fires, but nothing is changing.
All right, all right. Professor Ogola, I want to give you a very tough assignment.
Wow.
Which is to be brief.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
As brief as you can. How can the youth of this country, how can we defend protest rights without tipping into disorder?
I think what needs to be done is to set the agenda, because we are not setting the agenda, we are reacting to the agenda, as you said. And when we don't react to the agenda, we will start defining the direction by telling them what we want. We are telling them what we don't want. Time comes when we must tell them what we really want. And then secondly is that we have too many ideas within the youth, and if you wake up in the morning with 10 ideas to eat, you might not eat. But if you wake up with one idea that will make you eat, you can actually eat. So within the youth, the unity and identifying a very clear path they need to follow and stop being swayed from it, they can actually be able to achieve that. I think I've achieved my goal.
You really have. Congratulations. Our gentleman, Ras, who is Tafari, here's the thing. Can you give us one scenario that would put you out of a job? Because you're a social activist. Imagine a world where you don't need to do what you do. What needs to happen for that world to come to be?
I think that's a system overhaul, because we know that right now, even the government is trying to groom other young people who will take over what they have been doing. So we need to have a political alternative leadership, a new system that will make sure that right now not go to the street to demand to stop extrajudicial killing or to demand for housing. We need a social justice alternative leadership, and that's what we are aiming for.
All right, thank you, sir. Now, my director tells me I have 2 minutes to wind up the show. So here's what we're going to do, because this 2 minutes is clearly going to fly out of the window. I said one line, okay? So I'm going to pick people at random. Talk to me, the Kenya you want to see, the gentleman who has a mic, the lady from Nyandarua, you're next. Please, one line. I ask you one line, all right? Please, Mr. Wanjala.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Victor. I'm charged up to say this. So, Mulamba started a very good conversation. I'm an intern doctor, and I would like to urge Gen Zs, let's be the change that we want. For me as a doctor, I will practice that beneficent, non-maleficent, and justice to my patients. For all of us, let's be that change that we want. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much. Who else has a mic? You have a mic. Please grab a mic. There's a mic.
If given a chance, governance reform. Number 1, lower the retirement age to 50 years. Number 2, clean up the public service. Number 3, appoint young professionals to key leadership roles. And number 5, strengthen the oversight laws.
Thank you for missing number 4. The chap with the microphone. Yes, sir.
Okay, we as youth, we are very impatient, and that's why we are.
Please pass the mic to the back. Tetezi will come to you in a bit.
And rushing for the mics. Okay, we as the youth, we need to decolonize our minds in all over the country.
Okay, all right.
For giving us good aspect of governance.
All right, pass it to Tetezi, and as we listen to the lady from the back.
Thank you. Given a chance to change this nation, I would invest in youth leadership because 1, they do not sycophant. Even in companies, they are respectfully disagreeing with the managers. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for keeping it nice and brief. Right next to you, one line, please.
Given a chance also to change this world. I'm even talking about the world, Kenya.
Yes.
Listen. For the government to listen more, I've been person maybe in the government to listen more and to act right.
All right, Tetezi, as you wind us up.
The Kenya I want is a Kenya where I don't fear I'll be killed tomorrow when I speak the truth. The Kenya I want is a Kenya full of integrity. And the Kenya I want is a Kenya where justice is not given to only those who have money, but also to the poor.
All right. Gentlemen, I'm so sorry, Mr. Soita. I'm so sorry. We're completely out of time. If you would care to come back next week, I promise I'll try to give you an opportunity. I'm so sorry, sir. You can hear we're totally out.
If asked, I would say
I'm sorry,
the
sir,
Kenya
please.
that listen to the ground. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the ladies in the team. Thank you for the gentlemen. Asanteni sana for your insights, and I hope Kenya will be the better for it. Asante sana. To our audience, thank you so much for watching. The people who watched online, Simon Ambani, Dennis Odhiambo, Elijah Sang, people like Francis Moirori, people like Kabuku HSC, Kamsei Kimani, Masharia, Lizzie Njeri, thank you so much for watching us. This has been the People's Court. The verdict is out. You know what to do. We appreciate you for choosing us to inform you this evening and taking part in this conversation. Share this message to a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll be right back, God willing, next week to tackle yet another subject that is on the minds and hearts of Kenyans. My name is Victor Muyakane. It's been my humble pleasure to bring you this conversation. Good night, and may God bless you.